These are your July 5. If you have these props handy, get them either a small or medium weight, whatever that might be for you. This is a 5. I could start with that, or I could start with no weight. Medicine ball if you have it. If not, a yoga block could come in handy. And then what I call a Swiss ball, or a maybe 55, 65 centimeter ball. And first we have our wash rag. So I'm going to lay on my back and rest. And then I take a big inhale, and I'm going to slowly roll my left shoulder towards my right hip, and then slowly release. So we'll do that same side, left shoulder towards your right hip, and release one more. And I could exhale as I do this. My goal is to loosen my spine. And I'm going to go right shoulder towards my left hip. So I'm making a diagonal line from my right shoulder to my left hip. And I'm seeing how loose I can be. I've got one more on this side. Right shoulder, left hip. Now I can go back and forth. The other way I could think about this is pushing my right shoulder and left hip into the ground. So same move, but I could think of the opposite action. Now it's my left shoulder and right hip. So however that makes sense to your brain, if you just think of a diagonal line, or if you just allow your torso to move, that's really what we're going for. So that's your wash rag. To come into my side plank, I could either come up into a traditional plank like so, and then open one arm to the side. So this is one way to get into it. If this feels like too much on your wrist or your shoulder, come down to your knee, come down to your forearm if you need to, and breathe. So I'm trying to make a straight line from my ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and possibly my whole leg if my leg is straight. Here's your other side options. Side number 2, straight arm, straight legs. Knee down is an option. Elbow down, knees down, that's an option. So that's your side plank. Let's come up to standing and we'll do our split squat, which we can use this large ball, or you could also put your foot on a Bosu. That would be less, or more stable, less difficult. I'm going to stand with possibly with my hip to the wall if I need a little balance help. I can stay right here, or I can go down and up. And down and up. This is what's called a split squat. So I'm stretching the front of my thigh. I'm using my organizational muscles to not twist my pelvis. And then let's switch legs. I'll turn around to show you the other side. I'm going to get my foot fairly far in front of my ball, step back on my ball. Now I'm on side number 2. You might just hold here and get organized. You could go down into your lunge. So a Bosu version of that would look like this. I could step my back foot onto this dome and go down and up. Same move. So we have our medicine ball push-up. For this one, I'm going to bring my medicine ball near the front of my mat. Come into hands and knees. Stretch one leg back, then the other. Then I can move my hand to rest on the medicine ball. You might stop here. Lower to the ground version, knees on the ground. I could do 5 push-ups like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one. And I'll show you both versions on side number 2. I just roll my ball over. This is version 1, knees down. I could also come up to straight knees for 5. This one's harder. 4, 3, 2, last one. Now we have our get up. This is an old weightlifting move. And it's kind of complicated, so I'm going to talk you through it. If you've never done it, don't use a weight. Just make a fist with your hand. If you've been doing this with me all month, I could start holding a 5, an 8, maybe a 10, whatever you could use to do an overhead press with. So I've got my left arm up, left knee bent. I'm gonna roll to the side. This is like a log roll, so try that a couple times. Roll onto your right shoulder. Then I can push into my right elbow and forearm. I'm pushing up with this top arm. Now I'm gonna come onto my hand and move it a little bit closer to me so that when I push down into my foot and my hand, I can lift my hips. So you might try just that much, lifting your hips. Maybe you lift, swing your leg underneath. Whoop, now I can take a second and figure this out. Where do I want my knee, my fingertips? Now I'm facing the front. Yeah, and I'm gonna stand up. Whew. Now I gotta reverse that whole thing. Big step back, there's my lunge. Putting this hand down, this arm's still up, and I'm kind of sticking my hips out behind me. I swing my leg through, land on my hip, my elbow, arm still up, shoulder, log roll. Now we'll do the other side. Right arm holds your weight, log roll to the side. Push up onto your elbow, onto your hand, lift your hips, swing your leg through. So this might take a little bit of wiggling to get that leg where you want it. You can always adjust your foot when you get to this point. Stand up. Now my left leg goes way back behind me. I'm gonna lean over, flex my hips, swing my leg through. I land on my left bum, elbow, shoulder, and log roll back. So your July 5 are wash rag, side plank, split squat, medicine ball push-up, and get up.